Hello, welcome to the GAC 2025. I am here with Dave Savoie, who is the CEO at Louisiana Corporate Credit Union, or as we call it, LaCorp. David, why don't you give us a little introduction to the corporate and to yourself?
Thank you, Sarah. I'm David Savoie, CEO of Louisiana Corporate Credit Union, and it's located in Metairie, Louisiana. And we serve about 100 credit unions, helping them with investments, funds transfer, and credit needs.
Right, and you're looking to go beyond, though. You had a few outside of Louisiana, so
That's
looking
right.
to expand. And so you have a lot of opinions about things, I have noticed. So first, why would a corporate credit union come to GAC? What is your purpose in coming here?
Well, first of all, because we're a credit union. The Federal Credit Union Act in 1934, set out what credit unions are, and accordingly, we were chartered as a state chartered credit union, not a QSO, but an actual tax exempt credit union. So that's what we are. So we should do everything other credit unions do with respect to lobbying and all of these things. So that's why we're here.
Awesome. And I know you have a particular point of view on the legislation that's come up, the Board Member Modernization Act. Tell me what you wrote an op-ed for us, which I love, and everybody go read it. But tell me about your thoughts on that.
I think it's well past due. I've often thought, even before this came up, my first background out of college was working for a CPA firm and doing audits of corporations, not necessarily not-profit, but regular for-profit corporations. I noticed that the largest credit union, the largest Fortune 500 companies in the world meet quarterly. And that's the requirement from SEC. They have to produce quarterly financials if they're publicly traded. Same time when I was a new examiner at NCUA, which I did for 10 years, Holy Rosary Credit Union, which was $50,000 at the time in Louisiana, had to meet every month.
Yeah.
And that was before the advancements in technology that we have now. So I think it's past time to cut that back. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that the loan applications, small credits would take loan applications and approve them once a month when the credit committee met or the board met. So it's time to move that into the present day, I think.
Yeah, just like we did with the loan committees, they're mostly gone.
Right.
And you also have a beef, if you will, with, I'm going to read the numbers, NCUA's 704.8K rule, which limits credit unions to 15% of your average assets, max concentration. Tell us about it. Talk about that.
Part 704 is the corporate credit union section of the NCUA rules and regulations. And there's legislation that requires all regs to be reviewed by agencies periodically on a schedule. And this schedule is coming up for Part 704 this year. So it'll be coming up for review. And as part of that, people can write in comment letters to the agency. And that is a thing that's actually provided for by federal law. They're not just taking comments out of the kindness of their hearts. They're required to. And so we can write in, and we're going to write in on that one. And trade associations write in too. This is a particular section of 704. And there'll be a few sections we comment on along with other corporates, but this particularly hampers us from doing business and really affects us more than anybody because of our size. We're the smallest corporate out of 11. When there were 34 corporates, we were the smallest, which if my math is right, that means that 23 corporates that were bigger than us are no longer here. So we survived the post-U.S. Central meltdown. And this reg says no individual credit union could have more than 15% of our moving daily average net assets on deposit with us on any day, which means on any given day, some of our largest depositors have to move money out of LaCorp into usually Federal Reserve excess bank accounts or the Federal Reserve account or a bank account. So in nearly all cases, that money is going out of the credit union system instead of staying with us, where we could use it to provide credit for credit unions with deficient liquidity, which is the primary purpose of a financial institution, is move money from people with excess, parties with excess liquidity to deficient. For us, that's equates to about $25 million, which is hampers us. And it's the only section of the reg that does not have a de minimis dollar amount limit. What we're going to comment on is that it should have a de minimis. We think $50 million, and it could have some other limits too, but larger of $50 million at 15% of assets, or maybe 200% of capital. But it has to be a way for us to, help our credit unions use us more easily as a correspondent bank. I was told that the original reason for the reg was after U.S. Central failure, when they were doing the post-mortem, they noted what a lot of us knew already, was that some of the larger parties represented on the U.S. Central board would use the threat of withdrawing funds to try and influence board decisions. But U.S. Central's not around anymore. The regulations don't provide for a central corporate. I haven't heard any reports of that happening since, and I do think if it does happen, it could be dealt with as a supervisory matter. It's almost a civil violation as opposed to a regulatory dollar amount limit. So that's something that we're going to ask our members to comment on, and we're going to be putting some things out on this reg because it in essence, what does it mean to a credit union? It gives you more choice. Right now we're offering the best rate on money market accounts of anyone in the country, as far as I know. And
any of the corporates.
Any corporates, and as far as I know. And so, our credit should have a choice of putting that money with us if they want to earn a higher rate. And competition's good. Competition raises all ships. And,
yeah, absolutely.
And so I think it'll be a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and you guys, you serve credit unions of all sizes, obviously, but down in Louisiana there are quite a few smaller ones.
Right.
And so you've been kind of partnering with the league to support its No Credit Union Left Behind program. So talk about what LaCorp is doing and maybe some future plans.
Yeah, helping small credit unions has been the essence of what we do since we were chartered, because there's so many small credit unions in Louisiana. It just comes. It's the air we breathe. It's not a new slogan or movement for us. It's just what we do every day. I particularly feel like this area is critical right now. I've been around the credit union business for going on, I hate to say, 40 years now, since 1987, and there's always talk about consolidation and smaller credit unions getting smaller. I've heard that since my first year, but something's different now. There's a palpable difference in the air. I think it has something to do with disruption, in government in general right now, and I do think that credit unions need to take a hard look at themselves. There's a tendency at gatherings like this to congratulate each other, and that's all well, fine and good and warranted, but there's some issues that need to be faced. One of them is the credit union officials, employees. It's an aging group, and we need to get youth into it, and I know there are programs for that, but it needs to be, fundamentally, what do we do to change that, to get younger members, younger employees, younger officials.
Right.
Taxation, I think we need to go beyond slogans. The credit union difference is fine, but what is the credit union difference? What is the credit union difference when some of the largest natural person credit unions, for branding and marketing purposes, take credit union out of their name and purposely market themselves as ABC Federal instead of ABC Federal Credit Union? And how do you do that and still say you have a credit union difference? I don't know. Small credit unions, I think we have a branding problem, and I consider we're a small credit union, we're a small corporate.
Sure.
Banks don't use the term small banks, they use the term community banks. Now, if we use the term community credit unions, that would be confused with community development credit unions. But,
or community FOMs, yes.
Yeah, but we need a better name. Somebody more creative than me needs to come up with a better name.
All right, I'm on it.
And then taxation, we need to take a look at where the money we're saving on taxation is going, and go beyond slogans to empirical, measurable proof of how the tax exemption helps members. If the corporate tax rate right now, the highest rate is 21%, then are members getting 21 cents more on every dollar of dividends than they're getting from banks? I kind of suspect not. I hadn't done a study. Are they saving 21 cents per dollar on interest on loans or fees? I don't think so. I think it'd be great for somebody to do a master's thesis or a doctoral dissertation on, but I think it needs some research, and then we need to take a hard look at it.
Yeah. Well, and so I was talking to Fort Randall Credit Union, which is out in South Dakota. They serve 6 counties that have a population of like this room, and they have Native American reservation there, and no bank is going to go out there and serve them. But this
Right.
$42 million credit union is going to do it.
Right.
And that's the kind of energy and the kind of work we need to be doing to prove that we deserve the tax
Right,
exemption,
right,
to
right.
prove that, small credit unions can thrive and survive. There is no problem with that. It's just, I interviewed James McBride a few minutes ago when you walked up. And his credit union's just, I think, around 100 million. And they're doing some amazing leadership development, career pathing, all that kind of stuff to help develop their people. And, so many small credit unions are like, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Right, right.
So, hopefully we get more can-dos and
Absolutely.
continue to have the small credit unions because they are very valuable, not only to the credit union movement politically.
Yeah.
We put them out on Capitol Hill every year, but also they're important to this Native American reservation, or like these people that have to drive 2 hours to get to a branch, and like how do you electronically serve them?
And, that's a good point. I think we need to do more. We take small credit unions every time tax exemption's up for threatened. We take them out and we roll them up on the stage like Jerry's Kids, and use them as an example. We need to give them a seat at the table,
Yes.
not use them as an example and cast them aside, because there's lessons to be learned from them by all of us. So I think we need to do more than have stories about this small credit union did this thing or that, and be able to speak in terms of dollars and cents. In total, what are we doing for our members with tax exemption? How are they benefiting from it?
Yeah, this credit union put $2 million in loans out, more than they had the previous year. So, they're really working hard to grow. But so, as I always do, I give my guests the final thoughts. What is your last word you have to say for our credit union audience today?
Wow, I think I've touched on everything I wanted to say, but it's just good to be here with credit unions, and I've run into so many people I haven't seen in years. And there is a credit union difference. It's real. It's not just a slogan, and it's incumbent upon us to find a way to communicate that in a way that a congressman or a general member of the public can understand.
Yes.
And I think that's what we need to do, and I think gatherings like this are a good way to get focused on that.
Excellent. Well, thank you, David.
Thanks,
Appreciate your
Sarah.
time.
All right.